How did your sibling ruin your life? Mine kept a ledger of every dollar our parents ever spent on me and demanded to be reimbursed in cash or equivalent goods. My brother Dorian was 4 years older than me. He'd always been obsessed with money and fairness. At first it seemed almost harmless. As a kid, he'd count the exact number of fries on his plate against everyone else's and demand a recount if he came up short. He made mom keep receipts for his birthday presents so he could confirm they cost the same as our cousins. But after I was born, he became convinced I was there to drain his share of everything. He kept a notebook labeled The Deficit, where he tracked in his careful handwriting every advantage he believed I'd stolen. Entries like, new shoes for him, none for me, owed $60. He'd slip into my room while I slept and whisper, you're just an expense they'll regret. On my 10th birthday, in front of the whole family, Dorian handed me a gift, a matching pair of accounting ledgers. Now we can keep it fair, he announced. He laid out his system. Every dollar our parents spent on either of us would be logged and balanced. School clothes, doctor visits, birthday cake, gas to drive me to practice. If mom bought me a jacket, Dorian was owed the cash value. If dad paid my club fee, Dorian got the same amount to spend however he liked. He'd already built spreadsheets, columns for each parent, rows for every category. Our parents laughed nervously and went along with it to keep the peace. Living under it was exhausting. Dorian carried a little calculator everywhere and narrated running totals at dinner. They've spent $200 more on him this month. He made our parents sign weekly summaries confirming the split. If I came out even slightly ahead, he'd have a screaming meltdown about being the unloved one. Every kindness got poisoned. Dad would buy me a textbook, then hand Dorian the same amount, so it balanced. Mom started quietly giving him more just to avoid the tantrums, and I learned to refuse things. When Dad offered to pay for my driving lessons, I said no, because Dorian had already calculated it would cost $600 he'd demand matched. I didn't want to put Dad through writing that check twice. Getting older and moving out helped, but Dorian still made our parents send him monthly statements of anything they gave me. A birthday transfer, help with a car repair, all of it logged so he could invoice for his half. When I was 27, my dad developed a serious illness and needed daily care Mom couldn't manage alone. I moved back home to help. Dorian lost it. Since there was no way to reimburse him for the value of round-the-clock care, he announced his solution. Every hour I spent helping Dad, I owed him an hour of unpaid labor, yard work, errands, whatever he wanted. When I refused, he said I was hoarding Dad's final years and deserved to pay. One morning, I was helping Dad to the bathroom while Dorian stood in the hall with his calculator, shouting that I owed him $43 for the care hours I'd racked up that week. I told him he was sick in the head, that Dad needed actual help. While he stood there tallying, he threw the calculator at me and said I'd been robbing him since the day I was born. I told him I was done with the ledgers, the invoices, his need to price every ounce of love. My parents agreed, and I thought maybe it was finally over. But Dorian didn't take it lying down. He filed complaints claiming I was isolating our parents from their rightful heir. He started mailing me actual invoices for accumulated expenses, compounding interest on childhood debts going back decades. He convinced a therapist that I was denying him equal access and got a letter recommending structured financial mediation. He let himself into the house while I was out and photographed every receipt in the kitchen drawer as evidence. Then Dad's condition worsened, and Dorian tried to bar me from the hospital, arguing to the front desk that I'd already exceeded my lifetime allotment of parental spending. He brought printed spreadsheets, decades of numbers proving I'd cost thousands more than him. While he stood there arguing accounting with a bewildered nurse, Dad slipped away. Mom finally broke. She screamed that Dorian had turned a family into a balance sheet and cost her the last minutes with her husband. She cut him off completely. He still mails invoices for his outstanding balance. Everyone goes straight into the recycling, unopened. I keep one thing on my desk though, the ledger he gave me on my 10th birthday. It's completely blank. I never wrote a single number in it. Turns out that was the only way to win his game. Refuse to play.